The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to Conor Commentary, a hilarious take on news, politics, sports, and current events. It's time to buckle up. Here's Conor.
Are we ready? Are we good? Are we live?
We're live.
All right, my mic cut out there for a second. All right.
No, I just didn't turn it on yet.
Oh, okay.
You jumped the gun on me.
I'm sorry. As usual, all right, we are back, and it is episode 34. And I have my friend Ben here. We got questions for him. Ben, are you ready for the questions?
I'm ready for the questions.
Are you excited?
I'm nervous.
Am I one of the only people still doing a podcast through all of this?
You're one of the few soldiers that's powering through.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Trust me, it's the smart thing to do.
It's the smart thing. I am here to bring you people entertainment.
Think about it.
Yep.
You're at home all day.
Yes, I am bored.
You're in a situation where, unfortunately, you're unable to work right now because of this going on.
That is correct.
You're bored.
I am bored.
You're probably sitting around getting deep dives into YouTube.
Pretty much, yeah.
Perfect time to be releasing content.
That's true.
While people are home.
Is that what you've been doing? Have you been going down the rabbit hole of YouTube?
Well, I go down the rabbit hole every day anyway.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
You find anything interesting on there?
From time to time.
There is some sick stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, it's called Quake Up America.
Anybody that wants to tune into that is a very, very interesting show that Ben produces.
It's wildly interesting.
It's really entertaining, especially if you're into conspiracies.
Absolutely.
What's the conspiracy of the coronavirus? Was it deliberate?
That's one of the conspiracies, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many little conspiracies with all these little tentacles going on about like the masks and everything that's involved with it. You know, who made this? Was it man-made?
That's very true.
Did it come from an animal? Like, there's so much. And it's interesting when people have some information that they feel like connects the dots.
That's true. Do we have like a definitive thing of where this did come from? I know people say it came from a bat in, Wuhan, which is a city in
China.
China, right?
Yeah, Is
that a fact or?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a fact.
Yeah.
But our quote unquote medical experts believe that is the case, that it came potentially from a bat or a pangolin.
What's a what?
It's like a little armadillo-esque creature.
Really?
Yes.
Is that the thing that I saw on Twitter the other day that was like a big bat that was like flopping around on land? Did you see that?
No.
And there was like a dog in the video?
No.
It was absurd. I forget where I saw it. I think I might have seen it on, I think it was like KFC radio from Barstool.
Okay.
And I think they retweeted it, and I don't even know what country it was, but it was like almost like a massive bat on land, and it was like flopping around.
You know what? I think I saw the still image of that.
Yes.
And just said, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Kept it moving.
It was extremely bizarre.
Yeah.
So that could have been the start of the coronavirus.
It could have been.
But, Ben, a few weeks back,
oh boy,
you ranked it a 1 out of 10. And then I think you went down to a 0.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I went 2 to 1.
I think you did. I think you went 2 to 1.
Yeah.
So do you stand by that still?
Yeah.
Just because you're so confident in your immune system?
My immune system just came down from the gods.
All right. Fair enough.
I'm good.
Are you like Dwight Schrute where your immune system would just destroy it immediately?
I do also have a beet farm. No, I don't have a beet farm. No, I don't know anyone who's been sick from it.
I honestly don't either.
I've come to work every single day.
Yep.
The other people that work in the same building as we do come to work every single day. No one's been sick.
That's very true. I literally don't know one person who's got it yet. Knock on wood. You know what I mean? But when I think about it, there's like how many thousands and thousands of cases in Massachusetts? You'd think you know somebody.
You'd think.
Right?
But it also kind of shows how big the world actually is.
That's extremely true.
Are you hearing a lot of the same stuff I'm hearing from people? It's like, I think I had it back in February.
Yes. I'm hearing a ton of that. Do you think that's true?
No.
No, you don't think so? They had some. But I mean, a virus is like a virus. So how much...
Virus is like a virus, Conor.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But like you get a virus, you get a fever, like you're sick. So people were all saying that if they were sick a few months ago that this is what it was. But it's also kind of similar to the flu, right?
Or you could have had a cold.
Or you could have had a cold.
Or you could have had food poisoning.
Yes. Or you could have had the just normal virus.
Any other run-of-the-mill virus.
Because I feel like whenever I've been sick as a kid and never gone to the doctor, they're like, oh, you just have a virus, it'll pass.
Yeah.
So this one, I don't know what it is, but I don't know, we're not doctors, but it's much scarier because it attacks your lungs, I think, right?
Yes.
So that's what does it.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage on your respiratory system, and that's obviously a concern for a lot of people, especially people of an advanced age or people that are immunocompromised. It does a lot of damage to those people.
Or I also read online people who smoke marijuana.
I've been seeing that.
Have you
lately.
seen that? Yeah, I saw that on Twitter
lately.
from like a real like news source.
I'm gonna go with nah.
You don't think so? No.
No. I mean, smoking obviously does not help because if your respiratory system is not doing well, and smoking doesn't, particularly cigarettes or marijuana, where you're actually inhaling it into your lungs,
Yep.
as opposed to cigars where you're not doing that.
Exactly. Yep.
Yes, it's going to cause some kind of damage. Anytime you're taking in combustion, it's not good for you. However, I don't think pot is.
It's going to be the demise.
Listen, we've been lied to for decades with regards to marijuana.
Oh my God, for centuries.
For so long.
Yes.
That I anytime someone comes out with something new about it, I'm just like, whatever. You guys have been lying for so long.
Yeah.
That I just can't take it seriously.
It's so funny because now it's like everyone's starting to turn, and it's becoming legal in so many places. Obviously, Massachusetts being one of them.
Yeah.
And everyone's changing. And now they also show that it has like a ton of medicinal purposes.
Which a lot of people have known for a very long time.
Right, but they've kept it under wraps. And some states continue to. I mean, I think some states in the country, you still get arrested if you have like a half a gram of weed on you.
Probably.
I think there's
Those
like
are
multiple
terrible states.
Yeah, probably.
Not going to those states.
It's probably out in the middle of the country. You go to Kentucky and they're like, oh, that's, you have an ounce of marijuana. That's a felony.
Yeah. One of the things I find interesting with regards to the legalization or illegalization of marijuana is when you look back as to one of the reasons as to why
Yes.
it was criminalized back in the 20s or 30s. I can't remember the newspaper baron's name, but he did a full court press on marijuana and getting it illegalized because hemp was used for paper products as well. And
Right.
he had a newspaper and he didn't use hemp. So he wants that industry just outright gone.
Oh, really?
And I
Talk
can't-
about fake news.
Can't remember his name off the top of my head. I think he was the inspiration for the movie Citizen Kane.
Okay.
It was that guy.
I've never seen it. Is
And
that a
then
good movie?
Citizen Kane?
Yeah.
People will say it's the greatest movie of all time. I saw it when I was younger. I was just like, okay, it's all right.
Yeah, not highly recommended for people who are stuck inside.
Not enough, action. I need a little more violence.
Yep.
Maybe some boobs.
Okay.
None of those.
Okay, all right.
None of those.
So like an old school 80s flick you're looking for.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm basically looking for Citizen Kane redone in 1988.
All right. I'd be on board with that.
Yeah, I'll watch Total Recall over Citizen Kane any day of the week.
All right. That's funny. Hey, all right. So did you hear that the people in Michigan are starting protests? Actually, I don't even think it's just Michigan. I think it's multiple places where they're protesting the stay-at-home order.
How are they doing that?
They're getting into huge groups.
So you're
I
telling
think
me
it was Lansing, like Lansing,
Lansing, yeah.
Lansing, Michigan.
Mhm.
Yeah, they had a protest today to protest the stay-at-home order, and tons of groups of people got together.
Well, I'm not overly surprised by that. Again, I'm not overly worried about it
Right.
for me personally, but I also am still obeying regular social distancing protocols.
Right.
So I kind of think these people are all dumb.
My
for doing
question
that.
to you is, how many people do you think are going to come out with the virus from that, if any? I think somebody there has to have it without knowing it, and then that's going to be one of the things that spreads, is that these people getting together for a protest, and I don't know what they're really protesting.
I think if you look at all of them from a month from now, it'll probably be like 35-40% of them.
You think it will be that high?
Well, you got to look at one of that big pork plant in one of the Dakotas, North Dakota, South Dakota, which one,
Yep.
closed down because of this issue, and they had, I think, 240 employees that tested positive for coronavirus. Now, in that
Really?
state, there's only like 400 total cases, so
Oh,
more
really?
than half are coming from one place. That should probably tell you don't congregate like that.
Yes.
So
That would
people
make
in Michigan
sense.
are probably a little dumb.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
So that was in what, North Dakota, South Dakota? Or one of the Dakotas?
one of the Dakotas.
Some of these states have very low, like, what's the word? They don't have a lot of cases, but I think they social distance to begin with, right? I mean, they're all so spread out. Half of these places, they're all like farms and everything.
Yeah,
So who are they coming into contact with anyways?
5 miles until you see your neighbor.
Right. It seems like it's all major cities.
Well, that makes sense.
You're right.
It's a lot easier to pass it and move it along with so many people crammed into one tight space. So you look at New York City, everyone lives right on top of each other.
Literally, yeah. Have you been to New York City? I've never been.
Really?
No. You recommend it?
I don't like it.
It's packed and dirty, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
Okay.
Kind of smells.
Yep.
I don't personally see the allure of New York City.
Right.
I would never, ever, ever live there.
That's like the second most like spot where famous people go. LA and then New York City, right?
Who cares? I don't want to hang out with them.
That's true. I'm just saying, like, what is the allure to New York City as well, though? I know LA, the weather is fantastic, and that's Beverly Hills or wherever. That's where they all go. But what drives everyone to New York City?
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand why people would want to live stacked on top of each other like that. But they've been doing it for thousands of years.
Right.
Go back to old cities that don't really exist anymore. You'll find that they had their own versions of apartment buildings, and they were stacked on top of each other too.
Right, even back then.
Yeah.
Did you see about the rats in New York City?
What are they, like Super Shredder now?
No, they're like starving.
The rats are starving?
The rats are starving.
Why?
Because nobody's out there, so there's no like scraps to eat off of. I saw a couple of articles about it saying that they don't know what's going to happen to all the rats because no one's riding the subways. There's no one out there throwing their trash on the ground.
What are the subway alligators going to do in New York City if they don't have rats to chomp on? They all going to die?
Are there alligators down there too?
Oh, come on. That's like the oldest like urban legend. That
Is it really?
People would buy a pet alligator and then flush it down the toilet, and then there was these monster mutant alligators living underneath New York City. Dave, you know what I'm talking about.
That's a real thing?
Our studio audience is shaking his head in agreement because he remembers.
I have never heard that. I figured they'd be in Florida.
They're there.
That's where people keep alligators as pets, right?
They do it all
Florida,
over the place.
they put them in their bathtub.
Connor, I don't know if you've realized this. People are dumb.
I've been starting to realize it,
dumb.
now that I stay home and I have more time to read these articles and watch these shows. Did you see Tiger King?
I started it.
You started it? You weren't
Yeah.
enthralled? It gets better and better as it goes. It's just so
couldn't
bizarre.
do it. It was like watching the worst episode of The Office. It was just so uncomfortable. It's like, how do people like this live past the age of 12? I don't get it. How did they survive?
That is a very good point. It's like, how did they survive to this point? That's funny. Speaking of The Office, man, you know what I found out during quarantine? I've never known this. I just found this out the other day. Creed Bratton is playing himself. Did you know that?
No.
So, you know how they say he was a member of the Grassroots?
Sure.
I'm
I'm not most familiar with The Office. Didn't love it as a show.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
All right. So you were familiar with Creed, though, right?
Yeah, I watched the first 2 or 3 seasons, but after that, I was just like, I'm kind of done.
So he's playing himself. So his name really is Creed Bratton, and he really was in the band The Grassroots.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
So I had no idea until I was watching like the thing at the end where it shows the actors' names, and it was like Creed Bratton. I'm like, no, that's like the guy's name on the show. And then I looked it up and I realized he's playing himself, and he was in The Grassroots.
So he wasn't really acting.
No, apparently
they just put
not.
a camera in front of his face and like, be you.
Yeah, they're like, here you go. You be yourself. Talk about how you used to be in that band.
One of my favorite Creed moments. It wasn't really Creed doing it. I think it was Ryan.
Yep.
Ryan was talking about Creed and how Creed has a blog.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just opened an empty Word document, put a web address on top, and now he thinks he's talking to the world. That's one of my favorite Creed moments.
That's very funny. Oh, God. That's like me up here doing the podcast, right?
It happens.
You just put the headset on, you start talking, and, next thing you know, people from Singapore are yelling at you.
Are they?
That's happened, yeah.
People from Singapore?
I forget.
Specifically Singapore?
It was like an island owned by Singapore. It was like the Central Visayas was the exact name. That's what it was.
Interesting.
That's good, though. That means it's getting out there to parts of the world that I didn't even know existed.
You didn't know Singapore existed?
I'm familiar with Singapore. I've never heard of the island Central Visayas. That's like a part of them. Actually, it might have been the Philippines.
Okay.
So it might have been owned by them.
What parts of the world are you unfamiliar with?
Oh, God, man.
Can you name 3 South American countries?
Yeah. Ecuador, Brazil, and Colombia.
Oh,
Is that correct?
that's correct.
I don't know if I mean, Africa, I probably don't know too much about. Europe, there's definitely some countries I've never heard of still.
Like Liechtenstein?
Yes, is that a real country?
Yes.
Is it really?
Yes.
What are they famous for?
I have no idea.
Being a part of Europe?
They're famous for their country being named Liechtenstein.
That is a very
That's
interesting
what they're famous
name.
for.
Oh man, there's a bunch of countries I've just like never heard of.
It happens. There's like 220 of them.
Yeah, is that how many?
Yeah.
Because it's like, how would you even know?
Well, there's one easy way I know.
Yep.
It involves a YouTube deep dive, though.
Is that what is this what you've been doing?
Are you willing to take the journey, Connor?
Yes.
Do you remember the show from the early 90s? It was a cartoon.
I might not. I was born in the early 90s.
You bastard. Do you remember the show called Animaniacs?
No.
It was a cartoon with these like 3 cat dog things. I don't know what
I remember
they were.
I remember Cat Dog.
Oh,
on Nickelodeon.
That's a different thing.
Yep.
That's a different thing. But Animaniacs had this video where this guy, one of the guys, Wacko or whatever, does all the countries in the world to a song.
Oh, really?
So I will find that video.
You got to send it to me.
And I will email it to you so
yes.
you can watch it. They also did one for the 50 states. Do you know all the 50 states?
I think I could name all the 50 states.
All right.
I think if I had to sit there and write them out, it would take me a little while, but I think I could get all of them.
Like if we gave you a map and you had to write them in?
Oh, God, no. I couldn't do that. I could not even come close. I've been shocked when I looked at a map before thinking like this different states are in like the middle of the country and they're like almost in California.
Yeah, you're like, Idaho?
I'm like,
I thought that was next to Ohio.
I thought Idaho was down towards more like Florida.
Way off.
Yeah, there's a bunch of countries like Texas is almost in California. Right?
Well, there's a couple states in between, a couple very large states in between. New Mexico and Arizona, yes.
Okay. It's close though, right?
Sure.
Like you could like get there direct route?
You could get there direct route.
Yeah.
You just drive, I think it's Route 66.
Is that what it is?
I think so. I think it goes right through those 3 states into Southern California.
Have you ever been to Texas?
I have.
Really? Have you been to California?
I have.
What's your favorite state?
My favorite state?
Yeah. Massachusetts?
I love Massachusetts. I like going to Florida. I know that's not
yep. I like Florida.
Everyone's cup of tea, but I like Florida.
I do too.
I didn't, you know what? I'd always thought I would love California.
Yep.
And I went to San Diego for a friend's wedding.
Oh, nice.
Hated it.
Did you?
Yeah. I was like, this
why?
Sucks.
What made you, why? How was it?
I don't know. I was expecting more. I think I just built up this expectations like San Diego's this awesome, cool city.
Right.
And when I actually went, I was like, what gives?
That's how I feel like. I feel like about LA. Like it's like this big glitter and glam place. But if you actually get there, I don't know how it would be. Have you ever been there?
I've been to LAX, but that doesn't count. So no, I've never really been to LA. I've never been to San Francisco or anything.
Right.
But yeah, it's a weird place. But I've been to Texas. I was in Houston for the Super Bowl a few years back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The one that the Patriots were in?
Yes.
What game? Which time were they in Houston?
Oh, was that the...
Was it the
Atlanta one?
Was it the Atlanta one? I think it might have been.
I don't remember.
I think that might be correct.
Because my old job, I used to have to go
for
Super Bowl week to these places.
Oh, did you actually go to the, what's it called? Like the media day?
Yeah, I was always there.
Oh, really?
Always had to be there, yeah.
You don't seem like you were excited about it.
No, it was a lot of work.
Okay.
It was a lot of work, and it was a lot of holding a microphone in people's faces and hoping that you're there for 3 hours and they say something that's interesting for 3 seconds.
Yes.
That's media day.
Did you get to ask any questions?
I think I asked... The first time I went was Indianapolis when the Patriots ended up losing to the Giants the second time.
Yep.
And Victor Cruz was on the Giants,
right.
Massachusetts boy.
Yep. UMass Amherst, right?
Yeah, and I think I asked him a question, but other than that, I just let the real reporters ask him. I was just compiling sound.
Right.
Yeah.
That's less exciting, right?
A lot less exciting.
Yeah.
But we're stationed on Radio Row, so all the celebrities come through, and you're like, hey, Joe Montana, come on our show. Come on. That's what you're doing.
Do you get people to do it?
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
You ever see Guillermo there?
No.
You know him, right?
From Jimmy Kimmel Show?
From Jimmy Kimmel, yeah.
With the hilarious questions and his weird feud with LeBron?
Yes.
I do.
He is a fucking riot, man. I think he's one of the funniest guys. When he was harassing Bill Belichick,
yes.
He's asking him for like an autograph. Coach Belichick.
Yeah. He's really funny. What they do and set him up to do is pretty funny.
That was really funny. And you know that like when he started doing it before they had his cousin Sal, but he dressed up as like the other team's like kicker one year or punter.
Yeah.
And he pretended to field questions, so the NFL banned him. So then he ended up getting Guillermo after.
Oh, the NFL.
Yeah, the NFL loves to ban people. They banned El
Prez. They banned
man.
all of Barstool.
I think all of Barstool is banned. He still went into the game though.
Well, and
then they arrested him.
Still works his way. He would still work his way into Radio Row.
Right.
Yeah, because it was kind of loosely guarded.
Right, and there's so many people there, right? Like, how would you see him until they actually see him?
Yeah, there's a fair amount of people there. I mean, you just got to figure there's 500 people just in Radio Row doing their radio shows.
Right.
Not to mention all the celebrities or former athletes that are coming through to do appearances on those shows. And on top of that, you have all the fans that are standing outside watching.
And then they have a million like newspaper reporters too, because I feel like every single major newspaper throughout the entire country is there, like the Boston Herald, the Boston Globe.
Oh, yeah.
But then the same thing goes for like probably the biggest newspaper in Maine. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like they're probably there, right?
They'll send their like the Channel 5 News sports guy,
right?
You know,
from like every state.
Yeah, and they'll all be there.
That must be absolutely packed.
It is. It's an absolute nightmare. But I will say, Houston handled it really well.
Did they? Yeah.
Yeah, they cleaned up the city like nobody's business. It was great.
Did they?
I thought Houston was great that week, and I would talk to people that were from Houston. They were like, "Yeah, this is the best the city's ever looked."
Yeah,
they're doing it all for you guys.
Because then they wanted you to go back and tell everyone. Then they'll get tourism, right?
Sure.
That was probably their biggest week in their life.
Yeah,
hosting the Super Bowl.
Houston was pretty cool.
But
I liked it.
Houston's like a main spot. They'll be back in Houston.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's like Houston, Miami. They'll have them in LA, Atlanta. They always have them in Atlanta. New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean
Super Bowls in New Orleans all the time.
You can always do.
Right.
So even up to Minnesota, like they did a couple of years ago, you could do Minnesota.
Oh, right.
You could do Detroit, which they've done in the past.
Right.
So you can do the domes in the northern cities. Remember? Well, don't forget they did New York City.
Did they?
A few years back. Yeah, they did the Meadowlands. Well, technically North Jersey.
What year? When was that? I do vaguely remember that, but it's like how?
2013, 2014.
Right. What if it snowed? They would have just played?
They would have played.
Because I feel, isn't that why they originally started doing it in domes or like in warm weather climates, is so that they don't have to play in the snow?
Well, they started it off doing it at the Rose Bowl in Los Angeles.
Right.
And they always made sure they kept doing it in warm weather cities. And then I want to say 1980 was the first time they did it in a dome, and they did it up in the Silver Dome in Detroit.
Okay, yep.
In 81.
Yep.
One of those 2 years that they did that. And outside it was like -5 degrees.
right.
Do a Super Bowl inside. But yeah, they've done it more recently. So Arizona, that's another place.
Arizona, yep. Yeah. Arizona's a dome too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it one of those retractable roofs?
It's probably a retractable roof, but
right.
you just close it anyway.
At that point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Arizona,
exactly.
It's 98 degrees every day and sunny.
Exactly.
Yeah, that sucks if you go to like Minnesota for the Super Bowl and it's like 4 degrees out, but they're just playing in the dome.
Oh, they were miserable.
Right.
Like, my coworkers had to go, and they were miserable. They're like, what the hell?
They're like, there's nicer weather back in Boston.
Yeah, and we did it in Indianapolis one year. That was actually pretty good. We got lucky with the weather in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Because that's a crapshoot. It could be a dumpster fire or it could be beautiful. And
right.
It happened to be really nice.
It snows a lot in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Indiana, right?
Yes, it is.
Indiana and Indianapolis. This show could also do as a geography show at this point.
Yeah, we could teach geography.
We could, right?
Yeah.
If anyone's interested in learning about the states or the countries.
I'll keep pretending to be the expert. You keep pretending to be the novice.
Yes.
We got a good thing going here, Conor.
And then that's how we'll go. Speaking of sports, though, you see Tom Brady today with the All-In Challenge?
No.
You didn't see that?
I've been here all day.
You've been here all day, Jesus. But so he did like the all-in challenge for the coronavirus.
Okay.
So he's offering up, he's going to fly people down to Tampa Bay.
Oh,
they're going to get to go behind the scenes, that whole thing, right?
I did see this.
And then did you see who he challenged?
No. Oh, the
Roger Goodell, yes.
Yeah. So I think what it is like you obviously have to donate a certain amount.
Right. Oh no, you got to bid.
And
you want to know what the first bid is?
$15,000.
$50,000. 50,000 was the first bid.
Ed Sullivan, stop. You don't even care about football.
Ed, you can go to Tampa Bay and you can bring us with you.
Yeah, anytime for a lot less than $50,000. I can give you a game worn jersey I had from 1998.
Ed, do it. Ed can afford it, man. Come on. Yeah. Outbid this person like it's eBay. So my question to you is, you think Goodell's going to do it?
Probably.
He has to, right? Even if he doesn't want to, he will look like a massive asshole if he doesn't.
He'll probably do it. I mean, it's good optics.
It's good optics, yeah. It's good stuff to get out there.
Yeah, it's all public relations. That's all it is.
Whatever he comes up with will probably be pretty cool, too.
Yeah.
Like, you'll get some crazy NFL experience.
Give him a Super Bowl experience.
Exactly. You get tickets to the Super Bowl.
Someone will bid $100,000.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking Tom Brady's could potentially be an investment if you have that kind of money with the stuff that he's giving away. Because he's given away his first game-worn jersey in Tampa Bay. How much do you think that'll end up being worth one day?
A few thousand.
Right? Mm-hmm. He's given away the cleats that he wore that day.
Okay.
And then you can either go out to dinner with him after or take a workout with him.
All right, Conor, which would you do? Would you work out with Tom Brady, or would you go?
Absolutely not. I'd have him take me to some fancy steakhouse.
Oh, you wouldn't just go to like Hooters with Tom Brady?
Honestly, maybe that.
I think they've got the first ever Hooters down there.
Is that where it is in Tampa Bay? That would make sense. That sounds like a Florida
I
thing.
think it's in St. Pete. So
St.
not
Pete.
that far from Tampa
It's close,
Bay.
right?
Yeah.
We're
Very close. I've been.
We're pretty good with the Florida geographics.
I've been plenty of times. I've driven all over that state.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a good state, man. It's nice weather down there.
You just got to stay away from all the idiot college students who want to go spring break down there.
Especially in the middle of the coronavirus.
Yeah, what dumb people.
Like that kid that was on the news and then he got it. You saw that?
We just got an update from Ed Sullivan on the actual bidding
Yes.
for this.
Let's
it's
hear
well
it.
over $50,000 now.
Really?
$110,000.
What? Oh my God! Who has $110,000 just to spend?
At that point, Ed said he's out.
He's out.
Yeah.
Wow!
I think $100,000 was his limit.
That
Once
was
it
his
hit
limit.
110, he was like,
he bid $99,000.
Yeah.
He's like, no more.
"I'll bid you $99,999, please."
And it just started today. I wonder what that's going to end up selling at. What do you think?
$250?
Really?
I don't know. Some baller's gonna splash the cash.
I guess if I was an absolute millionaire, I got $1,200 today. If you guys are down, that's a down payment right there.
I'll double it with you. We got $2,400.
We got $2,400.
We got $2,400.
Maybe you could do that. We'll do a raffle. We're all excluded. This is the 1% only that is allowed to bid on this.
Yeah, can the 99% have a chance here, guys?
Yeah,
Come
can we
on.
get back in? That's what I thought it was going to be, more like a raffle type thing.
No.
Where like if you spend so much money, you'd be put into a raffle. But hey, they're doing the right thing and they're going to get as much money as they can in order to support the coronavirus people.
Absolutely.
So it's the coronavirus people. I don't even know what it was. I don't even think he knew when he was saying. He's like, we're supporting the first responders, the nurses, and the people doing the stuff. And I'm like, yes, correct.
Well spoken, Tom.
Yeah.
Well spoken.
All right, I got 2 questions for you, Ben.
Oh God.
Are you ready for them?
I don't know.
We have one easy one and one difficult one.
Okay.
You know, Pat O'Leary likes to stick it to you. So the first,
Not literally.
not literally, but you know, I like to ask him for the questions to see what he says.
Okay.
First one.
Yes.
What's the first thing you're going to do when this thing's over?
We discussed this last week.
Yeah, but you're not going to go to the bar, are you?
I thought I signed up to be your wingman.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I said I was game. I was down.
All right, we should turn this into content somehow.
We will.
We'll have to see how well you can do.
We'll bring a camera.
All right.
Yeah, if
I think right now it's me, you, and Jatine as the crew. Jatine, if you're listening,
That
you're
is
signed
the
up.
crew.
That is the crew.
Ladies, I can't go with you.
Yep.
I can't go home with you. I'm already attached.
Yes.
But I can set you up with my friends Conor and Jatine. I can whisper in your ear about their many impressive attributes.
Yes. You can tell them about the show that we do, how Jatine was a special guest.
Yes. He knows the stock market. Clearly,
he
he's very
does.
wealthy.
He knows the stock. Yes, clearly he has
What do I have to say
large
about
expense
Conor?
account.
Conor, it's like, a baby's arm holding an apple.
Yeah, I host my own show that is produced by you in this lovely studio.
We'll work on it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get something.
We'll get our liquid courage up.
I'm stuck at that one. So the very first thing you're gonna do is go to a bar and be my wingman.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My answer was I was gonna watch sports, but
We'll go to a sports bar.
that's true. Then we can do everything at once.
Yes.
We can drink, we can mingle, and we can watch sports all in the same evening.
Exactly.
So it doesn't get any better than that.
It's a good plan. Kill 3 birds with 1 stone.
3 birds with 1 stone,
Yeah.
exactly. My next question, this one's from me.
Uh-oh.
How soon do you think this is going to happen?
Oh, God. What's today's date? The 15th?
The 15th, yeah.
It's April 15th now. I'll give it where we're unleashed upon the world again. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
I'll give it another 20 days. So
I honestly agree. I think you're definitely. I think
May
you're
4th,
right.
May 5th.
That's what I'm thinking. May 4th is the date right now. I know they're saying parts of the country might open up sooner, which would kind of make sense because if you're in a state that doesn't have anything going on.
Yeah, if you're in Wyoming.
If you're in Wyoming, then yeah, sure, open back up. It's no big deal. That's the thing where it's like the governors should just decide because Wyoming is astronomically different than New York right now.
Yeah, just a little bit.
It's just uncomparable. And Boston, even when you think about it, Massachusetts is way worse than New Hampshire, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Like Massachusetts has astronomically worse. So
But
I
that's
feel
mostly because of Boston.
Exactly. It's really bad in Boston.
New Hampshire doesn't have a major city like that.
Right. They have Manchester, I think, which is absolutely a fraction of Boston.
If you put Manchester, Portsmouth, and Concord all together, it's not Boston.
you put them all together and it's like the South End.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's
exactly.
like a fraction of Boston.
Yeah.
So that's definitely why. So I honestly think Massachusetts, it might be later. New Hampshire, it might be a little sooner.
Probably.
So I think based on whatever the governors decide to do, but Massachusetts, I think they're still saying we haven't hit the peak.
Who knows? I mean, they don't really know.
Right.
That's part of the problem is, they're going off of projections, they're going off of models, which is fine, which is good because it is more information than just shooting from your hip.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, the reality is they don't know what's going to happen. All of a sudden tomorrow it's not going to, but all of a sudden tomorrow it could be just
go way down. Yes.
Yeah. But
which is what happened in like Italy and a lot of European countries. They're starting to open back up now because it's going down substantially.
Yeah. Well, they got it first, though.
Right, exactly. They were like a month before us, so we're probably like a month behind.
Yeah, so another 20 days.
Another 20 days
or so.
That's a good answer. I think you're going to be right on the money here.
I hope so.
All right, Pat O'Leary question.
Oh, God.
Weirdest thing that you've done during quarantine that you wonder if anyone else has done?
Weirdest thing?
Yes.
Well, I know one thing that's really weird that nobody literally has done during quarantine.
Okay.
And it's weird. I don't wish it upon any of you.
Okay.
Produce certain podcasts on the network.
Are you trying to tell us something about the show tonight, Ben?
Not Conor commentary. I love doing this show. This is fun. This is fun. There's other shows that are a little more tedious.
So that's the weirdest thing.
But the weirdest thing, I haven't done anything really that weird. I'm sorry. I don't have a great laugh answer for that.
Some of the podcasts you've produced are very weird, though.
Very weird. Strange people that want to host podcasts. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll do what you ask. I'll do what you need. But some of these people are off their fucking rocker.
Yes. I've seen many.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sure there's a few people that are watching right now that know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm looking at you, Ed.
Ed knows exactly what we're saying.
Exactly.
That's why Ed's at home right now.
Having said that, I really like those people. They're good people. They're just crazy as all hell.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. I don't think I've done anything too weird. The weirdest thing that I found out was the thing I already told you was the Creed Bratton thing, and then I went down a wormhole with that, like on YouTube. I'm like, is this real? How real is this? Yeah. And then I was like, oh no, this is like really real.
Yeah, I think part of the problem with answering that question is I haven't been in quarantine.
That's very true. I didn't even think of that.
I've been at work every day.
I know, because you're still here, so you're not locked up in the house like most people are right now.
No, but my fiance is locked up in the house.
Oh yeah, she must be, right?
So she's going crazy.
Yeah,
which is an even better reason for me to get out.
Touche.
Go to work.
Because people are staying home like that. The divorce rate's going to go through the roof, right?
Yes,
that's what they're saying.
The divorce rate, and it'll be baby boomers 2.
Right.
All over again.
That's literally what it's going to be called, baby boomers 2.
I know. So
the quarantine kids.
Another generation of assholes.
Yes, seriously. And then there'll be an angry old generation in the future.
Exactly. Then now we'll have a new generation from millennials to get mad at instead of us always being the brunt of everyone's anger.
Touche.
Yeah.
I never knew what we did to bring that on, but people do not like us.
Well, here's the reality. Every generation, every older generation
hates the younger generation.
Takes a dump on the younger generation.
Literally,
like,
it doesn't matter.
They're screwing it all up, and then I want to be like, hey, you know who are the parents of that younger generation? you dumb shits.
But that's been going on since the beginning of time.
Yes.
Like, these kids.
They're so lazy, they don't do anything. Back in my day, I had to walk 5 miles in the snow uphill both ways.
I always laugh.
That doesn't make sense. You're very bad.
And I always laugh at that. It's like, sometimes it's just being smarter. I'm like, if you go all the way back to the origination of the first person that made the wheel, they're probably like, oh, back in my day, we would have never used that thing.
Back in my day, we carried shit.
We never used a wheel.
Yeah, that's why you're going to die at 23. I'm going to live to 35 because I got this wheel, bitch.
That's some wheeling down.
Exactly. First person who invented sliced bread.
Yes.
Before they're like, we just ate chunks of it.
Yeah, we do it with our hands like a real man.
Now you don't have to do that.
We sliced it for you.
Yeah, this isn't me being lazy. This is me being smart.
Right. It's the difference between being lazy and thinking of better ways to accomplish things.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
All right, Ben, before we wrap up, you have any more things to add? Any words of wisdom? Any hopeful thoughts of encouragement during these trying times?
I do have a question because you mentioned
I'm ready.
Watching sports
is
one of your go-tos when it does come back, which I think is the case for most of us.
Right.
Have you been watching any of the horseshit attempts at sports over the last couple of weeks?
No.
That might be the weirdest thing I've done on quarantine was actually watch ESPN have horrible horse You didn't know about this? Like Paul Pierce from his backyard basketball court.
I just saw this.
Tamika Catchings in her backyard basketball court, and it was horrible.
I did not watch it.
Absolutely horrible.
So it's absolutely unrecommended for anyone listening.
Don't watch it. This is a public service announcement. Avoid ESPN's horse competition at all costs. If you're starving for sports, and I know a lot of you are,
no matter how bored you are, do not watch it.
No, do what I do. Go to YouTube and watch old games.
Yes.
Yeah, go back and watch like the 1986 Celtics.
I've watched a little of that.
Have you?
Yeah, I've watched a little of the old school sports.
Such as
like the Red Sox game where David Ortiz hit the grand slam versus Detroit. Torrey Hunter fell into the bullpen.
David Ortiz,
2013 ALCS. You were there.
Yes, I was.
Of course you were.
I was at all those games.
You've been to all the coolest sporting events, haven't you, Ben?
I've been to a lot based on what my job was at the time, but I generally don't like going.
Yes.
I'd rather watch it on TV from the comfort of my house.
I would too. But some of those experiences have to be pretty cool.
Some of them are pretty cool. Like, so I mentioned how I was going to the Super Bowl weeks.
Yeah.
I never went to the game.
Right.
So I never actually got those experiences, but especially the 2013 Red Sox, I was at all of those games. The ALCS in Detroit, and then I was at the World Series in St. Louis. So I was at all those games. I was at Game 6 when they clinched.
Oh, really?
And I got the hell out of there before they closed down the street so I could actually go home instead of waiting there till 2:30 in the morning.
Before people start tipping cars upside down.
Exactly.
I never got that. Why did people destroy people's property in acts of celebration?
Again, I'm going to go back to what I think is the theme of this episode, Connor. People are dumb.
That is a very good point.
People are really dumb. I have to admit, though, when the Celtics won in 2008, I wasn't at the game, but I was at a bar next to the Garden at the time, and there was a mini riot.
Okay.
A mini little riot of people breaking stuff and breaking storefronts and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't really participate, but I was there.
You threw a rock and ran?
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, you know what it was? It was a milk crate.
Okay.
There was a weird milk crate, and I just picked it up and just hucked it as high as I could in the air, and I was like, all right, get out of the way.
And it hit an old lady down the street, but that's neither here nor there.
Don't tell anyone that. Is the statute of limitations over? Hope so.
I think you're good by now. It's been 12 years.
I think so.
No, we didn't. Ben didn't do that. We don't promote that.
No, everything we say on the show is bullshit.
Yes, I think that's what the outro says. All opinions are just opinions, or whatever it is.
It probably says opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one.
Everyone's got one.
Don't hold us to these idiots' opinions.
Yes. All right. Anything else to add?
I think I'm good, my friend.
You good? Yes. All right. We will see you all next Wednesday at 5. We will be back. All right. Message us in the next week. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let us know.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.